Hello, hello. One topic that I want to cover that I believe EA Sports needs to change it in their upcoming NHL game is crowd reactions. This video that I'm about to show, it's not mine, but it's Miggy11. I'll put a link in the video. That way it gives him credit. You can check out his channel or whatever. But it just shows covering it. It's just going to show how the crowd reacts and how it compares to another game. So we're just gonna watch it. Ooh, let's start over first, but this is OV breaking Gretzky's goal record. So he does it, the announcer, he yells. But after that, the crowd's, it's just silent, has no reaction. Even though it's an away game, the crowd would still react to, it's OV breaking Gretzky's goal record. Should be how they react, cheer and all that. Even the home crowd you should still hear, but it's completely dead silent in the game. The announcers barely react. The guy yells, but then they don't really acknowledge it. It's just like a simple acknowledgement. And then you see him skating around, he claps and that's it. So, what in reality, let's compare that to now FIFA. This is my video. Let's take a look. Besides my buddy yelling and all that, you hear the crowd, it's into it. Announcers that get into the goal. And it's just two different completely different atmospheres that you have in the games. So when it comes to NHL, the atmosphere of the game, it doesn't bring you into it. It's totally silent. It takes away from the game, actually. You just see different crowd reactions and all that. And I mean, even I could probably look at, let's take a look. Let's just see if I have any decent, games here for NHL. Yeah, you just take a look. Dumb goal. Crowd's not into it, but I mean, that's an away game. But let's see if we can find a home game here real quick. Let's just see. I don't know. I cannot see one. I'm not gonna play through that. Yeah, let's just take a look here. They score, crowd isn't into it. It's just the same old. It takes away from the game. It's just look at any FIFA goal here.
First 5.
Crowd's into it and all that. The reaction is just way better. It adds to the game. It creates a different atmosphere. You're playing, you score a goal, it gets you hyped. The crowd's into it, it gets you hyped. NHL, it's just complete silence. It's just a dead atmosphere. It doesn't really assist you in the playing. It's an awful atmosphere, like I said. And it actually takes away from the game. You're out there just trying to play. Madden didn't do a good job with, I don't really know if you could give Madden credit, but the momentum meter, they kind of need something like that in NHL, but more so just in the psychological sense. You need to hear crowd chants, you need to hear cheering, you need to hear the announcers actually get into it, and I get part of this is because NHL is underdeveloped. Once 2K went away, they pretty much moved their team over to UFC or whatever it was. But you need to focus on those areas to make it a better game in presentation, to make it a better game for atmosphere on the just all game modes. and to just make the experience better as the consumer plays it. If we score a goal, it's the last minute, and there's really no, like, you go to an NHL game, they're cheering, they tied it up and all that. NHL, it's like, woo, okay, we're done. And then after that, it's just, out of all the sports games, it is the one that no matter what, you could just mute the whole thing because there's nothing added to it outside of like menu music if you want to listen to like one of those songs. Other than that, it's the commentary's awful, the crowd environment's awful, presentation's awful. It's that one game that you could guarantee like you could just mute it from the start. You don't have to listen, you're not missing out on anything. It doesn't add any different experience to it. It takes away from the game a lot. And overall, that is something that I hope they change going forward into NHL 23. Although I don't have any high hope on NHL and EA. But if they do change it, please just, make it so it's like you're actually at a hockey game. And get rid of all the announcers. They're awful. Just please give us some. What's his name? James Sabisky or whatever. I don't know if that's his actual name. I probably just threw out a random name, but he's awful. And you need people that add to the game. And right now, NHL does not do that. And I do get a lot of it is funding wise. You could only work with so much, but there's people out there that play the game, and you're losing your fan base off of it. Effectively, I believe NHL's on the NBA Live path where, like, in a couple years, we might not even have NHL. Because it just seems what they're doing with it is they're putting as little as possible into it, recycling a lot of stuff, just kind of letting it go as is. And it's little things like changing the atmosphere to the game that will keep people playing it because it adds a different aspect to it. But EA overall, we've seen, FIFA, Madden, yeah, they have their issues, but they're at least the main focus, it seems. NHL, I don't know. For me, NHL is like the NBA path. Like I said, it's going to be dead in a couple years because a lot of the aspects that they are adding now are stuff people have been like asking for years. And they're always last to the party. Like the Frostbite engine, they were the last to introduce it. And it sets a path that, we see EA not necessarily caring about their fan base or their game. And that's just, to me, that's just not good. Like, it's the little things. Like, you don't have to, I get it. They're probably not going to make all the changes. But the atmosphere is one thing that can make it so much more of a game to play. Make it so people get into it more. It's dry, boring. It's just a quick thought that they could actually work on and change. It's stuff like that. Stuff like, changing Shell back to an overall system. So the more games you play, the more like you put it like FIFA where you earn like points that you could put towards skill trees and stuff. Get rid of the useless bag systems that offer nothing and nobody really cares about. It's just small things that you could change to make the game. It might not be perfect, but it'll make it a little bit better. And one of them is the crowd atmosphere. So I hope they listen. I hope they do that. And if you like what I had to say, subscribe, like, comment, share, whatever. And hopefully in the long run, EA will at least put some effort into the game. I don't think so. So I'm not having, much hope for them. They haven't really showed us in any of their other games that they'll listen, but, hopefully 23 comes out and they show that they brought stuff along, like they changed the crowd atmosphere. I've also talked to I think his name's Ben Ross or something. I've talked to him and mentioned it about him where it's like, you're playing the game and the atmosphere is just dead. So hopefully they listen. Hopefully they add stuff, that the fan base wants. And hopefully 23 proves me wrong that it's not going to be a disappointment, but I won't know until the game comes out. So like I said, if you like this video, subscribe, like, share, whatever. And thank you for watching.